That's how I'm doing tacos.
All right. First topic from Vira. Medical art roleplay within the city. Um, I'm not sure exactly. Uh, Pretty much in general, all roleplay within the city needs to get better. There's, from everybody. Uh, there's not much story building going on. It seems like more people are just wanting to grind and make money. I mean, some people are creating stories, which is good, but role play overall in the city needs to improve. Medical wise, we haven't really heard much about stuff besides this is first time. EMS is here for a reason. Give them the role play that they deserve. Just don't run in and after being shot and say you got a splinter in your finger, and then run right back out and go start shooting up again. Take your time, let them get their role play in because that's all they have for at the moment. Even if they show up on scene, if someone's down, leave them there. Don't drag them. Take them to pillbox after you just call 911 because they're going to be running out there trying to find the person on scene when you just took that person to pillbox, and it's taking time away from them, time taken away from their role play. So. Jala says we have new people in the city. Perhaps review people taking hostages, do and don't. I heard there was recent things, or someone was kidnapped for a robbery and then robbed at the same time. I mean, this is common sense, do and don'ts. You're not supposed to pocket white people. That's a big no-no. Take what you need, then go. Don't be robbing them completely of all their goods. Also, I know with G has been putting in like special houses, one-to-one houses for people. People have keys on them. Do not take their keys. It's theirs. You buy a regular house within the city. You don't have keys on you. People can't rob your house, so don't be taking their houses.
I mean, when you take someone hostage, you don't have to be super friendly with them. They're a hostage. You just kidnap them. I don't see an issue with you robbing their pockets, but don't empty their pockets. Don't make it a source of income.
Yeah, that's just
You're already
lazy.
taking them away from something else. How much do you really need to punish them if you're taking them hostage for your role play scenario? Then again, people also need to think about how much they carry on them all the time as well.
Mm-hmm.
Continue. That was it.
All right. But yeah, going back to the houses. Don't steal their keys. It's this is the way the system's set up. Like I said, houses you get from realtors. You don't have key, but you can't access them. It's just how the setup is. So don't steal people's keys from them, and then go rob their house.
You got this, Kenny.
Oh, I am. I'm just reading through some of these because some of them aren't topics. Putting the same effort into RP scenarios as you want people to put into yours. Sometimes I end up involving people in situation things feel like 100K to die server with the lack of story building and jumping straight into shooting and hitting banks or other shit. Foster the RP you want, provide better RP. Just like I mentioned earlier, the first topic, the role play within the whole city needs to improve. Build your stories, get other people involved. Just don't sit there and like your little clique and just build a story with just, 3-4 people. Expand out, get other people involved within the city, even if you don't think they'd be interested. Try to involve more people than just your friends.
And that's kind of lumped into a bigger thing of like, as new people come around and have a different style of role play, have a different uh storyline, maybe they're a little off. I watch too many people just shut people down, just walk away, ignore them, stuff like that. And just overall, everyone needs to be more receptive to everyone's role play. But in the same time, like, don't force other people into your role play if they don't want to be. But you just need people to be a little bit more open-minded and accepting to every kind of role play. This isn't just like a selective gang city or a selective cop city, it's everything. It's always these weird silences after I talk.
I'm just reading these topics. That's all.
And a big thing about doing these town halls, we tend to get flooded with a lot of stuff that's added into the town hall topics section. You guys need to understand, you don't have to wait. The once a month that we do these, you guys can open up tickets, ask questions, put in your concerns then as well. But for
Or
some
any
reason, like every month, it's like a reoccurring thing that this people sit on this stuff and they don't bring it up for whatever reason.
like to go back to the EMS thing, I see people asking why they have to take gang members to to pillbox. When it comes to gunshot wounds, there's that chance of it getting reported to PD. There is always other options you guys can find out in character.
Fact is grandma's is a thing, and it's going to be utilized by gang members. All right, it shouldn't be overly used in all senses, but especially during a gang war, it makes sense for them to use grandmas.
Yeah, and we're never, we try to do this in every aspect of the RP, is not force anyone into like going one place.
Yeah.
So like if you're trying to avoid the cops and you're in a war and all of this, grandma's house makes perfect sense instead of going to a hospital.
Yeah, that's what grandma's there for. Now, if you're in a war or something, you're not going to go to the hospital because and all theory, PD's there and they're going to start asking questions of what's going on and investigate it. So you want to kind of keep a low key for that.
And the only time PD gets involved with gang wars is if it's outside of their territories. Other than that, we don't touch anything. We might observe, but we don't roll in and arrest people.
Ren said, address wearing bike helmets, mask all the time. You wouldn't wear a mask or bike helmet all the time in real life, but I see people literally doing it everything, or doing everything in one. I know it's not COVID related. I understand catching pigs, mining, etc. If it's a job accounts for it, catching pigs is a full bike helmet. It's not realistic.
Yeah, it's just everyone, I see so many people running around with motorcycle helmets constantly. If you've ever worn a motorcycle helmet, you would not wear that every aspect of your day. If in a criminal aspect, if you're trying to hide your face, like I understand gangs and bandanas across your mouth, stuff like that, that's gonna happen. But as far as like wearing a mask and something all the time, it just doesn't make sense. You want to differentiate yourself from just normal walking around the streets to when you're actually doing crime. And it's not just, you weren't born with a motorcycle helmet off. Like, let people see your face and like have some real interaction and make stuff feel a little bit more real.
There are guys that I see in the city. I should say people. Sorry, but people I see in the city that they wear sunglasses on a regular basis, but they're even good about it. Once they get inside of a building, they'll take them off and have a conversation with somebody. People put in that little extra effort with their character because you would do that in real life. You walk into a building after being outside for a long time, take your sunglasses off and let your eyes readjust.
That's why I wear glasses with clear frames.
See?
Yeah, and I mean, it really just shows how much you care about your RP when you're doing those little things of using emotes when talking, taking your mask off, like taking your shoes off. Like I see a lot of people do stuff in RP when they're by themselves. Uh, and that's how it should be. Like if you're doing an activity and you want to go do something, take your shoes off and jump in the water instead of just jumping in the water. It's just those little things that make it feel a little bit more organic.
Gotta set the immersion.
But when you walk up to a crowd of people just hanging out in front of the apartment talking and motorcycle helmets, masks, like it just kind of feels a little goofy to it sometimes.
You want to touch on this one, Jew? The more things activities for civilians do that isn't grinding money. I know you've been putting some stuff in like bowling and other little things.
I mean, that's more of a dev thing
Yeah.
to put in, just asking for activities, but there's a lot of stuff in the city that isn't utilized as it is. Um, we have stuff that are business related, like the go-karting. Don't see that used as much as it should. We put in more stuff, but people use it for a couple days and then they never go back. So it makes it really difficult to add more civilian activities and put all the time and effort into it for it to be used and popular for like a week or two, and then it just sits and does nothing at all. So like if people want to see more civilian activities, I would say we need to utilize what's there more. More activity at the go-karting and some of the other stuff, and we'll always add more in. It's just it kind of rotates. Like I add stuff for civilians, then I have to work on cop stuff, then I have to work on more crime related stuff, and that's just there'll be more. It's not like we're never gonna add it. It's just it also has to work with the city. A lot of stuff that's already out there. I tested. They lock all these scripts now. You can't edit anything. I don't just paste anything into the city. We try to customize everything to the city as much as we can, or make it from scratch. So
One thing I do see big that a lot of people do is they keep suggesting QBus scripts. That's for QBus servers. It doesn't work here. I know some people play other places and that's what their servers are based on. And those features are pretty cool. They have some cool ones, but when they're suggested here, they just don't work. So it's not that we're just shutting you down right away. Script
same
just
with
does not
stuff
work
off
here.
GTA mods or whatever it's called. Most of that is single player modifications. It's not anything for 5M.
And when it says 5M and 5M compatible, 90% of the time it's not. I got cars that say 5M compatible and they're 600k poly. What they did to make it compatible is put it in a folder that says stream and then added the resources for the data. So you can drag and drop and start the car. That's it.
Next topic. What changes can be addressed with the DOJ and law enforcement trying to find a happy medium ground for more people wanting to take part in crimes? I hear on a consistent basis people are deterred from
So
taking.
there's already a lot of stuff that we don't need to read the whole
Okay.
suggestion. There's a lot of stuff that's already been changed. And this is a whole topic that we've been going over for the last week as staff and a few others. And let me pull up this. Which one was this under?
Boost comic.
Yeah, so there's been massive changes in fines and times, the prison part of it, the payout of stuff, like a whole bunch of stuff has changed. I'm just reading through some of these notes really quick so I can touch on it. The biggest thing is the meta is always changing on these scripts as we see how it works, as complaints come in, suggestions. a huge problem we have in the city is someone will go and do a job and think it's not worth it or not get the best payout one time, and they just tell everyone that that's not worth it, don't do that, and everyone just runs with it. And I hear like I so one person will do it, we'll hear the complaints, we'll make changes, but then a month later we hear the same thing. Oh no, it paid out shit, so we never do it. Well, we were told it paid out bad, so we made changes and now it pays out better. But no one has even gone and tried it again just because of the word of one or two people. And that word is off a lot of the times too. A lot of this stuff has chances of low payouts, big payouts, different kind of material. So just because one of the times you hit it, you didn't get good stuff doesn't mean the next time you're not going to get a big payout. I feel like the risk reward in the city is pretty balanced. And on the law enforcement side of it, there's been a lot of changes being made. But we also need mindset changes on the criminal side of it. This isn't going to fix itself with one group of people. This is a citywide thing that needs to be changed. So yeah, in short on this, I mean the time has changed drastically. The option to reduce your time in jail is there. The option to receive items in jail is there. There's a lot more to it now. So I feel like this has all been addressed for the most part.
Yeah.
Everything is balanced to the point of the job and what is part of your RP. I mean, you don't just stop something just because one person says to. If it's part of your role play, do it.
And that leads into the next topic where this went on to for a very big discussion. The same type of thing about law enforcement's making changes. Uh, the criminals need to kind of rethink and make some attitude adjustments and be a little bit more open minded. The difference between criminals and cops is cops has a group that's like governing them and punishing them, making rules for them, training them. Gangs are just at your will, do whatever you want. And so we can't shift anything. The population needs to do that on their own. I think when I disagree when people say it's getting stale. I don't think that's a city issue. I don't think that's a mechanic issue. This stuff is getting added weekly. Uh, I think that's a mindset and an RP block, and you just need to branch out and expand as a gang. Spend more time at your block, hanging out, conversing, making RP with other people, not just running around and robbing every chance you get.
And which kind of leads into the next one. Uh, Gangs not feeling like gangs. You know, they're not on their block or hanging out at their turf. It's like a ghost town on the south side. Uh, like we've seen it. You know, gangs are. We've said it in plenty of other meetings. Gangs are too friendly with each other. I know there was just a gang war going on this past week. You know, that's the first one we've had in I think quite a while. Uh, but you know, they do become toxic at times. You know, we're all adults here. If you guys are in a war, you know, be mature about it. You know, don't be toxic with each other. But like I said, you know, gangs are too friendly with each other. You know, they're hanging out. You know, they're you know, we haven't seen them do jobs with each other like we used to in the past. Not saying it's happening or not, but you know, you guys are gangs. You guys are supposed to be, you know, beefing with each other. You know, not sitting there going out and grabbing dinner together and hanging out and bullshitting.
Well, I think we have a lot. We have a pretty good group of standing members, and I feel like it's kind of turned into like little cliques and some close-minded stuff. And people will go into their house and sit and watch TV with a group of 5 6 people. Well, that's 5 or 6 people that you can't even interact with anymore. They're hidden from the city. You roll up to all these different blocks where are supposed to be gang ran, and you'll go from block to block to block and not see a single person just hanging out. And I feel like it's just that the whole meta of gangs and the life of gangs is way off. And I know it can be hard to grow your gang the right way, but like as a gang, there should be people kind of, protecting the block, not even protecting it, just hanging out there, showing a presence. You have like 4 guys going out and hitting a bank, doing whatever. It just feels like the meta needs to change, gang wise.
I mean, how often are people trying to take the your boxes in the turf? Once in a while we'll
Yeah,
see.
that entire system isn't being used as it should, because you're supposed to be encouraging people to come to your area and sell, so your gang makes money. I look at everyone sets their stuff as like super low, and there's never like interactions of like, hey, it may be a little bit more to sell here, but when you come down here, we have guys on the block, and we know when cops are coming around, we offer protection. Anything. There's just I don't see any RP coming out of that system at all, and that's what that's there for. It's not all about taking over areas and who runs what area. Like there's benefits to having the area, and as more drugs come into the city over time, that system will advance too, but doesn't mean you can't use it now. What do you mean a reward for expanding? You own the territory by expanding.
There's a lot that's not brought into city yet. There's a lot that she wants to bring into city, but if we don't utilize what's there and bring it into like the gang war kind of stuff and the gangs and people actually acting like gangs, it's not going to be brought in that easily. He's not going to see that it's getting utilized as it is. Not saying everybody's not doing what they should as a gang, but people are too comfortable within their gang family. And other families, like people need to start RPing beef even if they don't mean it. And remember, guys,
I
it's
mean,
RP. Don't take it personally.
even when we do have any kind of war, it just turns into like a staff ticket war. Like as soon as a war comes in, we just get tickets nonstop, and there's so much. The gangs don't interact, and when they do, it's so OOC on so many different levels. It's, it's a really weird.
Yeah,
It's just like a weird feeling of no one knows how to beef correctly in city and keep it in city.
Like, I don't know if you guys ran into me as character, as a gang member in 2.0, but I barely was friends with anyone. And when I was, it was very few, and it was within the family, but I still beefed with whoever I could. And then, oh, see, sometimes I get messages going, are you pissed at me? I'd be like, no, it's just all character.
Cletus is about the RP again. We've already said that. Robbing people for no little or no reason. Yeah, that's lazy. Like G said, don't make it a lifestyle where that's how you're gonna live off of people just by robbing them for no reason. Make sure you have some, have a reason to, and uh, you know, I don't know how else I will say it. Just have a reason to rob someone, not just because you want to or see what they have on them. Uh, you know, I know someone said something about you see someone with a shotgun on their back, so you're gonna go rob them because they have a gun. That's lazy.
Should be
Uh,
the other way around. You don't want to go rob that person because they have a shotgun on their back.
yeah, because they can just pull it out and shoot you.
And this all, like, so many of these suggestions just lump into start thinking about and caring about your RP and the RP of others, and just changing the meta of the city back to how it should be. It's got, there's so much stuff that's gotten lazy and boring. And I just watched so many, like, hey, what are you doing? Nothing. Okay, let's go rob a bank. Cool. Head by here, we'll grab a hostage and we'll go rob the bank. And there's like no energy in it at all. There's no planning, there's no excitement, there's nothing. It's just like, oh, another day, another robbery. Come on, let's go. And all that stuff, it trickles throughout the whole city, the attitude, and stuff like this doesn't have to wait for a town hall to be brought up. This is what community chat is for. Keep everyone in check. Bring up these topics, start a thread and talk about it, and keep this stuff on people's mind all the time. It doesn't need to wait for a community meeting topic. If you feel like something's lacking, just, start a topic in city chat and get everyone thinking. And maybe a lot of these people don't even understand that their RP is shifting and they're kind of in a rut, or getting lazy or boring in their RP, and maybe these kind of discussions will spark something, uh bring new ideas, bring life to their RP, something. But we don't need to wait for a community meeting to bring this kind of stuff up. A lot of these topics can just be addressed on a daily basis, and hopefully help improve the city and the feeling of everything.
Gee, I'll touch on that real quick too. One of the biggest, laziest things that's being kind of brought up, and I think I saw in the topics that this was mentioned, but uh, just the lack or the laziness of the RP when it comes to hostage taking. It's almost like people are friends, and cops don't even know really if the hostage is a hostage. It's it's become a problem. If you take somebody hostage, we're talking about somebody that wants to, Cletus is wanting to rob somebody. Well, I see it all the time. I hear about it all the time. Somebody takes somebody hostage and they say, "Oh yeah, man, we'll let you keep everything in your pockets, or we'll let you take everything and put it up so that you don't get in trouble." I mean, I don't know anywhere in the world where somebody takes someone else hostage and they're like catering to them. It's
Yeah,
a
and this goes back
hostile.
to that thing earlier about someone taking someone hostage and robbing them, and that shouldn't happen. I mean, you're a criminal taking someone off the street to go and sit and point a gun at their head and possibly kill this person if your needs aren't met. Like, if you steal some stuff from that still fits the meta. Just don't wipe their pockets. Don't be a shitlord about the whole thing. But, like, take a hostage as a hostage, and don't use your friends as hostages. Don't plan this stuff out. Like, try to make it as organic as possible. Finding someone walking down the street. Don't just search for garbage trucks.
Yeah, I mean, just be hostile about it. Like it was just said, with beefing with people, it's we're still in these like separate silos. Like, and I don't want to get into the cops versus crim, so I'm going to use everybody else. I mean, you got your criminal element that just kind of they all jive together and hang out together, and then you got your civs that just work jobs or whatever, and they just all kind of hang out together and jive together, and same with the cops and EMS and so on and so forth. But you know at some point, like, lines have to be crossed within those silos. It can't always be unicorn and rainbows and, oh well, they're a gang and we're a gang, so we're buddy buddy. Like, there needs to be some interactions. If you're playing someone who's such a hard ass that they're gonna rob a bank, then be a hard ass and take a criminal, take them by force, make it an actual scene, make the person on the other side of the PC feel like, holy shit, this felt real. you
I
know
mean, if you
um
take a hostage and they have a pocket full of coke, you should probably steal that from them, and just keep it, because when they get caught or when they get seen by the cops at the end, I'm pretty sure they search them and they're gonna get in trouble for having that stuff on them.
Or you can do what I did in the past, plant stuff on them.
But
Especially if
I
you know
mean,
they're always going to get in
this
trouble and they
whole
don't have
like,
some.
oh, let me put my stuff away, this and that. No, that doesn't fit. That's not how it works.
And on top of that, if you're a hostage, you need to be a hostage. You should be fearful. You shouldn't be, talking shit to the criminal that's got a gun pointed at your head. You shouldn't be talking shit to the cops who are trying to help you. Again, like I've had people in my attorney practice come to me wanting to sue the PD because the PD didn't feel like, or they didn't feel like the PD cared about them. But then when I get the evidence in the video, it's like I didn't know who the hell who was robbing and who wasn't. So I can only imagine what it's like for the cops. And as a criminal, if I had a gun to you, I would want you to be scared, especially if you didn't have anything.
I
So
love the
again,
ones where the hostage is telling the criminals how to do the job.
oh yeah, those are
you
fun
do
too.
this, and or the salty ones. This is the third time I've been held hostage today or this week, and get it over with. Yeah, I'll be here. Just let me know. Like that kind of stuff. Just it kills it for the other person. They haven't taken you 3 times that day. They're trying to set up a scenario and have a hostage, and I'm sure they're hoping for a hostage that's going to be into it, involved, fearing for their life, having good conversation. And when you get a hostage, it's just like, oh, you can't hit this bank, don't do this bank because of this. It's like, whoa, shut up, you're my hostage. Like, come on, play that part.
Yeah, because the way
Agreed.
you act towards the hostages is how they're going to act towards you. If you're going to be nice to them and friendly, they're going to be friendly, and they'll talk too much. Then you just want to knock them out anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see a criminal punch a hostage in the mouth and tell him to shut the hell up or something, or pistol whip him. I mean, just something to get people into the mindset. Like this isn't a friendly exchange. Like this is,
And it really is an instant breach, like AC was saying. It's all part of the RP. The cops are going to be just as afraid. They don't.
I mean, shit, even take their ID and let them know, I know who you are now. I know where you live, yada, yada. Hit them with all that spiel. And, and if they fuck up anything as a hostage during that scenario, your gang goes and hunts that person down if they're being lippy towards you. Because you still need that bargaining chip. It's not a good idea to off them right there in front of cops.
Yeah, that's the only time they'll probably breach is if you off them.
all right. I said
Just
my
giving you
piece.
guys, just giving you guys ideas, like change it up a bit as a
Yeah,
crim.
it's just when people say things are stale, like I heard that too. I apologize, I'm just jumping in, but if it's stale, it's because the people you're RPing with are making it stale. Like you've become stale, possibly. Now look in the mirror. You do it. Is every time you commit a robbery, like is it the same old thing? Okay, we're going to go to the 24/7, and Joey, you're going to hit the safe, or you're going to hit the safe, or you're going to hit this, or whatever, and I'm going to hold the gun, and I'm just going to tell the cop the same old crap, and we're going to get in our same old car, and we're going to run, and we're going to go to the same old places to try to get away. Like if that's your RP, and that's what you do. And I joke because there was a group that seemed to hit a bank like every day 9:30 p.m. at one point, and it was the same thing every day, at least 5 days a week, same time frame. And it's like, how boring is that? And then those people get pissed when the cops catch on, and they're already waiting at their motorcycles, or they're already waiting at whatever to catch them. And it's like, you've literally been doing the same thing. Like people aren't stupid. They learn from what you're doing. So just keep those things in mind, and again, just freshen it up. I want to see somebody do something different that hasn't been done. I get tired of watching streams where people free passage in exchange for the hostage. Like, yeah, I know cops probably aren't going to dance up and down, tap their head, and rub their tummies for you, but just something. And I think there's been people have brought up before, the demand was like the chase had to be done in reverse, and every cop was driving in reverse, the crims were driving it, and like yeah, maybe that's like crazy, but it at least for that portion, people had fun, and it wasn't just about the criminals robbing the store and the cops chasing them. Like there was more to it. There was some interesting, fun things to it. So that's what
Also, you triggered the thing I wanted to talk about too. When you said boring, is with all of this like caring about other people's role play and trying to fit in and make it fun for everyone. We also have to take into account, and we've been talking to police about this and everyone, is when you're doing something, don't force someone to just be left alone for 10 minutes with nothing to do. This goes for like, you wouldn't take a start to rob a bank and refuse to talk to the cops and just make the cops stand outside for 10 minutes while your partners hit the bank. Your responsibility in role play is to sit there and talk to the officers, talk to the hostage, keep it going. You don't want all those awkward silences, and pushing things along. When a whole bunch of criminals go down and they have to go to the hospital, if there's one EMS on duty, I think it's all right to start taking a couple people to Nancy to keep the process rolling. There's still people that the EMS can treat and do their RP with, but putting someone in a hospital bed for 15 minutes dead, no interaction, no talking, uh, putting someone in a cell, no one by them, nothing to do, putting someone in solitary confinement for 10 minutes with no DOC around, no one to talk to. That's not fun for anyone. Like you just sit there and you rot, and you have literally nothing to do. You can't leave the cell, you can't talk to anyone next to you because there's no one next to you. All
Well,
those things.
when it comes to the cell stuff, and it's a double sided coin, right? If you want a cop to stand there and interact with you, you do understand that more than likely they have to break away because evidence has to be ran, a report has to be written, especially if you call for a lawyer,
Yeah,
different
there's
stuff like that.
obviously
So,
things, but it just need to be
but
mindful of the
yeah, no, but
time.
what I'm saying is, if you want a better reaction from the cop, don't just sit there and berate them the entire time. They're more than likely going to just walk away from you because they're not going to stand there and tolerate that. A lot of cops will banter with you and go back and forth, but a lot of them just want to do their job and have their role play and not just be shit on because they're just doing their job. There will
There's
be
an
times
amount
you
of
shouldn't
like
be.
toxicity that is all right, of
Yeah,
like
of
hate
course.
towards the cops, but when it's nonstop, the whole interaction, it gets old. Like you can go back and forth between like being civil and hating the cops, and like being resistant. But if you're resistant the whole time and you won't interact, and you're gonna make it more difficult. And that's what this whole thing is kind of about, is everyone needs to just kind of switch the meta of the city and think about everyone else. If you're in prison and we want DOC and we want prison to be like a thing, we can't take people and just throw them in solitary and walk away while we deal with the situation. It's just like, in that case, put them in cuffs and leave them with you so they can at least hear and interact. But just shutting someone down and throwing them in a cell and walking away, even when there's DOJ and police interactions, I think most of the time when they're discussing crimes and fines, that you could involve the criminal instead of walking out and leaving them in. You can hear the criminal could hear the interaction between the lawyer and the cop. They're discussing the person that's in the cell, so there's not really a reason to walk away and have that in private. There's too many, and this isn't only based towards streamers that have to sit there and try to fill blank time. It's anyone. It's not fun in RP to just have to sit there and be quiet, and there's literally nothing you can do.
Like as a streamer, like I'm not a streamer, but for some of you streamers, like even the ones that are not streaming, you got to still make it entertaining for those ones that are streaming because there's people watching. You want to have new faces come around, treat them the same way you would want to be RP'd amongst with, you know?
And I
Don't show
mean,
them
if
the
we
bad
want to look
habits.
at the entire whole picture too, the more like when we have streamers and people are watching them and seeing that, the chat is the one that speaks up all the time and is just like, wow, this is boring. Oh my God, they put you in the cell by themselves and no one's even like come and talk to you in 5 minutes, or why is it taking a lawyer 20 minutes to show up? This is dumb, you know. And like streamers are a big reason a lot of people or new people get brought to the city. It's advertisement for the city, so it helps. And we always want to make sure that we're doing our best to give everyone the best role play they can and be considerate of everyone involved. And when people are watching that stuff, we want them to be like, oh wow, this, you went to jail and DOC was interacting with you the whole time and you weren't locked up. This looks fun, I want to join. That's how our city grows. That's how we get new faces in. That's how this problem of people saying stuff feels stale can be changed. New faces always shifts things and gives things a new feel. So I think if we can change a lot of that stuff, and a lot of it's been talked about and mentioned to people and different departments, I think we can change a lot and make this more fun for everyone.
As far as the topic on selling drugs and getting actual money, I don't know
You don't have to touch on
how
that one.
yeah, I don't know if you've played or whatnot in a while, but at any rate,
This touches on what I said earlier about how things are changed constantly, and not this specific ticket, but it just loops back to like, try stuff every once in a while, see if it's changed, see if you get a different outcome. Don't do something and then just assume it's crap. If it's crap, we're not going to put it in the city. If we find out that something isn't working right and needs to be changed, we'll make adjustments. Now, just because you suggest an adjustment doesn't mean it's always a good adjustment. And we're gonna look at it. We have people go and do it. We look at the outcomes of stuff, and then we go, okay, yeah, this isn't working how we thought it would. We'll change it. We'll up the payout. We'll reduce the payout. We'll change this. And this same thing goes for cars. When we see the exact same car being used over and over and over and over again, there's usually a reason. That's how we find broken stuff, because when stuff doesn't work right, people will report it. When they hop in a car and it goes 250, not very many people will report it. So when we see something being used over and over, we'll sit there and drive it around, we'll work with it, and we'll find the flaw and we'll adjust it. We're not here to shit on the city, we're here to try to make things even. And when a car gets passed by and we don't see that it's going insanely fast for no reason, we're going to fix it. We're not nerfing it to just ruin the criminal's day, but when it's being abused, we have to look into it.
agreed. I do want to say, and I don't know if it's Kravis or what the name is there, but perfect example of somebody just saying like, you can't worry about everything else. Focus on you and your character. Everything else fall into place. Like, that's kudos to you for speaking up in town hall topics and letting that be known.
And who is this?
That was right underneath the post for clean money versus dirty money for drugs. Jarvis, I believe it is.
Oh, okay.
But,
Yeah. And
That's Travis.
Travis. What?
so,
Okay.
and that's a good one, because uh, these are, there's a new group in and they're working on mapping for us. And this is a perfect example. This is a fresh opinion of the city. They haven't been around for more than a week or two, and they're just kind of just stating what they see and how it is other places. But this is a fresh opinion. This isn't someone that's been in the server for 3 years. We see a lot of these same issues happen in other cities, and everyone combats them differently, and we're constantly trying to adjust it. We don't want to run people off. We don't want to, we take what people say into account when it's valid.
And then, as far as people using realistic names for their government names, if you're creating a new character, just keep in mind that eventually we will see the name. People do create reports. You need to use a realistic name. Names should not be of derogatory nature. They should not be, a bunch of syllables. You shouldn't have the same first name and the last name. Use some
Keep in mind
creativity.
though that the reason I said that in there too is we kind of went after someone once for their name, and they're like, "This is my legit name."
Yeah, we've
And
had
we're
that one
like,
time.
"Bullshit." And we got a picture of their government ID, and it was their last name. They used their same world last name in city. So some of this stuff is, some people are out there, but at the same time, like, I mean, I grew up with a just in time, just in case. Those were all real names.
If you have a name or something that you want to go by in city, you role play that out. Like, uh, everyone talks about Clowny all the time, but that's not his name on his ID, and the cops know that, and he threatens them anytime they go to use his government name because it pisses him off and it sends him spiraling. He
Like,
will always be referred to as that name.
like when we whitelist people, we go, okay, so what's your government name for your character? And then they ask, well, can I use this name as my nickname? I'm like, role play it out, see if it catches on.
Yep, that works. As far as
I don't think we need to touch on the car
yeah,
one too much because I don't know. That's just a weird meta that people have and a weird uh false thought in the city. When we tune cars, we don't look at if they're an import car, if they're an in-city car. We tune them by class. There's plenty of cars in city. I mean, we have an entire supercar dealership that's all in city cars that will go faster than most cars that are imports. Most imports don't come in as like an S class, S plus class, unless they're a Ferrari, Lamborghini, and even then we tone them down. The cars are pretty fair. The car part of it is what keeps the city going. People aren't subscribing to the Patreon because we don't have a queue. All this stuff cannot continue on without that. So that part of the city, it's a bonus. You get a car, but you're not getting any kind of advantage in the city by buying an import car. It doesn't give any advantage.
as far as it goes with using cars from other jobs, goes back to what G was just talking about, where we find out something's being abused or being broken, and then we have to change it. Um, if you're RPing as a pig farmer, then if that's what you're doing for the day, whatever, then use a vehicle appropriate for that. Don't go take a taxi from the city because you found out it has more storage or whatnot, and then use that. It's just it's goofy. It goes along with wearing masks and helmets all the time. It just looks dumb.
I don't know why
There's no
more
other way to
people
put it.
don't rent the crappy cars to go do stuff, because not only like that you rented it, but you have paperwork for it. So when you get pulled over, you don't get in trouble for stealing a local car.
And it's
But
like
it's
what,
easier to
$500 to rent the
yeah, it's
car?
just easier to point a gun at someone and pull out their car than go collect pigs in the trunk of a sedan you grabbed off the street. Why not rent the shitty truck that could hold more? And if you get pulled over, you're not gonna, and they don't poof if you're with them. Just don't leave them far away.
Go back in here to valuing your life. I know we touched on it as in the realm of being a hostage, but just all in all, I mean, somebody points a gun at you and you don't have your gun out and pointed, you're hit. like you're, you would have to assume that if you went reaching for it, like you're probably going to end up shot. There's been some cases that I've seen video of where there's been 2 or 3 people pull guns on somebody and the person tries to run away, or um, they run behind a wall and pull a gun out, and it's like, no, okay, make sure you understand the definition of NVL. And we've said this many a times in these meetings. In RP, you got to take it on the chin. You win some, you lose some. You get caught slipping, you get caught slipping. It is what it is. So just keep that in mind.
There are 2 aspects to that, though, right? Having a gun to your head, obviously fear for your life. But if somebody pulls a gun out and say they start firing shots, run. Show that you're fearful of your life. There's bullets flying around. And also, don't clutter up ongoing scenes. Like we had one the other day. I don't know exactly who was involved or what was going on, but there was that love fist situation down at Legion Square, and the van is parked right in front of the bank that is being robbed, and everyone on scene, even though guns are flying around, everyone refused to leave. Don't do that. Like, you are not valuing your lives. If the people robbing that place wanted to just ice each and every one of you, they should have done that. And even if they started shooting random shots in the air, I'm still not convinced people would have ran from that situation. People, for whatever, treat a lot of the different situations in the city, especially when cops are involved, as a spectator sport. Like, you got to stop and watch right across the street. You're not a part of that scene. Move on with your role play. Unless you're there with that group and you're a part of a planned scenario or something that's going on and you guys intended to be there, you have no reason to be there. The amount of people I have to chase off from scenes is insane, and nobody fears for their life.
All right, as far as balance between PD weapons and crim weapons, I say work on your shot. I'm not trying to throw shade, but weapons are probably the closest that they've ever been over the course of the history of the server. You have to understand it. Maybe, I don't know. There's a lot of gray area in that recommendation. I don't know if you were wearing body armor, not wearing body armor, what have you, but all of that has to come into play. Where two cops shooting at you, you were shooting at one of them. Did you land 5 shots? Did they land 5 shots? Like, I don't know. There's a lot there, but there is definitely a balance, especially with some of the newer firearms that are in the city that can do some pretty good damage.
Going back on this whole vehicle thing really quick, we could put cheap trucks that don't go fast in PDM or a dealership to buy for those kind of things, like $10,000 beater truck, if people want that kind of thing instead of renting one. So if it vanishes, you still have your stuff in the trunk. I mean, I'm down for those kind of things, but I'm not adding a truck that goes fast, because that's what people do. What's the fastest? What holds the most?
Yeah, and going back to the weapons thing, because I see this kind of continues on, but people are talking about crims with full auto weapons and things of that sort. Go back to what G said. Maybe you need to do some discovering in the city, see if something else is new out there. Maybe there's something out there. I'm not going to meta the information to you, but things do find their way into the city. It's just a matter of you having to figure out where they're at and finding them. To my knowledge, I don't think anyone has, but that G could probably say if he wanted to, but I'll just say, I mean, you gotta look. Can't give up after one shot. More gang stuff. People, if you think that like staff's just beating you guys up about gangs being too friendly and not branching out and whatnot, I mean, just go back through town hall. There's plugs throughout the entire chain of conversation here where people are mentioning the same thing. Just gangs don't feel like gangs and so on and so forth. Far as longer range and music distance for vehicles, I don't know. I've pulled into parking lots and heard music as soon as I pulled in. I don't know, what your volume's at on your car stereo. I know that obviously let me say, I'm sure that there's something in the script that keeps that from being too obnoxious. So you're
You
not
can
part
adjust that though on your own end, by the way.
What?
Volumes of radios.
Yeah, it's at the top of the radio.
No, not even just with that. You can literally alt tab out of your game, go to your volume mixer where all your sounds are, and there will be a Chromium extension in there that controls that audio.
Well, I know, but you have radio volume up and down on your physical radio.
Yeah, but it only lets you go down to like 5% though. If you go below the 5%, it cuts it off.
Well, yeah, I mean, if 5% still loud, then you have a problem on your end.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying is you can go in your own thing and adjust that how you want it.
It's not 5M, it's 5M like what he said, Chromium sub process.
Yeah, something like that. It'll only show up when you have 5M open, so.
Then there's a couple of suggestions in here, like adding the commercial dealership. Please make sure that those make it into the suggestion channel. Other than that, I'm at the bottom of the list unless there's something in the town hall chat that we need to bring up.
Yeah, I don't see anything. Everyone's
I
just
think
kind
we
of
just need
talking
to
amongst.
beat on what we've been talking about as a staff team and just trying to adjust the city for the better in every aspect.
Yeah, so I mean, first and foremost, G and his team that he works closely with, they have worked on quality of life and adjusting things to make sure, people can't, for instance, stock up on food from a gas station. Like you can get it as supplies and obviously use it, and it'll keep you hydrated and fed. But it's not meant to stay in your pocket. The philosophy is go out and use a business. There's other things for the way of life, if you will, that's been adjusted. So that's one aspect and just one part of the team. We've also looked and made changes, obviously, to things like allowing for there to be jumps and things of that sort. We've talked about, looking at situations as they come in, and dealing with those complaints, in a different light. Lots of conversation around the DOJ, EMS, PD, reduction of times and fines. We are still making some changes from a in character perspective when it comes to how further reductions in character can occur. By bringing an attorney in opposed to PD offering those things and so on and so forth. We've heard a lot of folks say they've had frustrations in getting someone in city to get a weapons license and hunting license and so on and so forth. So we've added another way for that to occur. Another organization, another government organization that's facilitating those things. So there's just kind of been a lot. Like we listen to what you guys are saying, and hey, look, the conversations can be difficult at times, right? You were all different perspectives and philosophies, just as well as all of you are. So things don't sometimes happen in the snap of a finger or in one meeting. But we definitely do consider and take what you're saying as a community, and find or try to talk through ways to see what makes sense for everybody. So we do appreciate that. And, I do want to say here in front of everyone that, I'm very proud of the staff team. And again, it's been some tough conversations here just over the course of the last week or so, especially in my absence. So I can't, I'm not even going to jump in and take credit. I'm just from hearing what people have talked about and seeing it in chats. The team's really mustered up and fought some good fights and all for changes for the better. So if you continue to have recommendations or whatnot, please put them in. If you continue to have issues, please open tickets. If we don't know, we can't help you. Sending something to a DM to somebody, that's great. But all in all, I hear it too often where people say things like, "Oh, well, I'm not going to put a ticket in because it's just not going to change." Well, if you and 10 others have that same philosophy, the unfortunate reality is no one has notified us, and we don't have an opportunity to correct it. So just keep that in mind. Nothing's too small, too big. We need the tickets. That's how we gauge where things are at. So I just want to put that plug in. But outside of that, there's G, if there's G or anybody, if there's something else that you want to touch on. But I do want to say this. Please, please, please keep in mind, just as we talked about the go-kart track and it not being used quite that much, or bowling and it not being used quite that much, or whatever, insert whatever. Keep in mind there's organizations as well, and we can't let them die out. So, make sure you're using your food places. Make sure you're using Pillbox, giving them RP. Make sure that you're, giving some RP to the cops, and it's not just, telling them you want free passage. Make sure you're utilizing DOJ. We change times and fines to help people. We don't want to see the DOJ die because people feel like, oh, well, I just got ass loads of money and I don't need an attorney anymore. Okay.
Just because your time in jail too is up, and if you're having good RP with the or with DOC, you don't have to leave the second your time's up.
Yeah,
Like
you
if
have
you're having a good time in there and there's RP going on and there's interactions and it's a good time, just keep in mind, like, you don't have to run out right then and there. Keep it going. Keep the RP going.
so there's all kinds of I'll call them small to medium-sized changes that have happened just over the course last week and a half, and again, all for the better. And we look forward to seeing where those decisions lead us, and if we have to revisit them or take another direction, then we can absolutely take a look at that as well.
I think this was spoke on just a minute ago, but like businesses, every business at this point should be at a spot where they can have some kind of salary going out to their employees. There's been changes made that aren't announced. There's been tweaks and stuff, but there's no reason at this point why a business can't have an employee and have them getting money, then not having to log a million things, not have to wait till payday. Uh, we're trying to make it to where you can do stuff without it being such a task. Businesses should have should be able to have that salary now.
Yep. So if you're a business owner, take that into consideration. Everything that's in your society shouldn't just be emptied out and thrown in your bank account. Take care of your folks. They don't want to work for you because we hear that all the time. Well, I can't get people to work. Well, if you can't get people to work, it's probably because you're not paying them. And nobody's saying you have to pay them, $800 a tick. But you gotta, they have to have money to at least survive, right? And Let's be honest. Everybody wants to be somewhat ambitious in their RP. You know, so whether you want to own a Ferrari or maybe you just want to save up enough to be able to buy a old truck. I don't know, but you know,
Well,
if
this is the meta shift and the mindset shift, because everyone goes, well, I could go work a job, but I can go do Amazon for a couple hours and make more money. Well, yeah, because if we make the jobs that are owned by civilians pay more, you're going to go pay $5,000 for one cheeseburger to make it even. So instead of the instant money gratification of going and, you know, driving around the city by yourself doing Amazon, you think about your long-term role play and continue to work at a business and build your money up. You have a steady money, you have RP, and you may not get the $5,000 an hour that you're getting there, but you're going to get money and you're going to get RP and you're going to build a story and you're going to slow roll your story instead of going 0 to millionaire in a week and then there's nothing else and you're bored and you're blown out and you don't know what to do anymore.
agreed. Again, you know, you're in an RP server, so if your focus is how do I make the most money, maybe you got to look in the mirror. Especially if you're one that says like, "Oh, this is boring." Well, if all you're doing is driving around an Amazon truck all day, I bet it is boring. And I get really upset when I hear people say, "Well, you got to have money to live and do things." Yeah, you do, but you know
Why would you
those
never have
But
a
you don't look at it
salary?
as I need to make the most money when you want to do that
right.
even for real.
And you know, I'll use Jerry as an example. I mean, everybody thinks Jerry is like a gazillionaire, and this dude has literally no money in his bank account. Okay, not to put Jerry on blast, but uh, since Jerry and I left PD, like we don't really hadn't had a steady income other than, you know, practicing as an attorney or whatever. I really tested it, and it was like $1,000 for 6 hours is what it would cost me to survive. That was food, gas for my tank, whatever. So um, when somebody's like, "Oh, well, the job's not paying enough, I can't even eat," and then I question, "Well, what are you eating? How much are you buying?" Like, I don't know if anybody really gets into that with their character on being frugal and things like that, but that's those are things you need to consider in your RP, you know, especially if if you want to be a gangbanger, like you can't bitch that, you know, that the taco place is only paying you $100 a tick when they're taking a risk hiring you because you're out selling drugs or robbing banks or whatever the case is. Just again, all that needs to go into consideration with your character. I think we all lose that mindset in some fashion at some time, that you know there's more to it than, like G said earlier, there's more to it than just showing up. Hey, you want to rob a bank? Yeah, let's rob a bank. And then we don't know what to do with ourselves for the next 3, 4, 5 hours that we're playing in the city. So that's my piece. I would like to see the community as a whole for the RP to get better. I hate having conversations with folks and asking a question, trying to have a conversation, and you get one word responses. Maybe you don't get a response. Like we really as a community need to focus on getting our RP back to where it was. I'll take where it was 6, 8 months ago. I'm not even going to say a year ago. But the level of RP has slipped. I've seen it both in character and in streams. So, and that's everyone. That's I'm going to encourage everyone to find something to spice it up a bit.
Finch, you definitely wanted to throw Jerry under the bus under that one. No, just kidding. Oh, in seriousness, guys, your
Kind of.
RP. Seriously though, guys, like individually, your RP matters to everybody because that's what's gonna enhance everyone else's RP as well. You got to look at it as, you know, kind of on a. Like I kind of heard it on, I can't remember, it's somewhere. It was either community chat or something. It says one bad apple spoils the rest.
Spoils the bushel.
or the bushel.
That's and that's just a poor mindset. One bad person shouldn't ruin a
Think
group
like
of
that.
people.
No, we want to improve it, and it takes like yourself to RP that out. Because daily we approve about 5 to 10 people a day to bring into the city, and it's your guys' example to bring to those new people, even if it's people that are new to roleplay in general or people come from other cities.
All I can do is continue to add stuff and fix stuff. But what's really going to keep people here is the RP. If they come in as a new person and they get no RP, or they just get shit on and robbed 10 times day one and have no good interactions or anything, what would make them ever want to stay? So if
It's
we're
not
gonna,
even like robbing. It's like the businesses are closed. Be patient. Not every business is going to be open 24/7. When it comes to real estate, and I know with Claire, she gets frustrated, and even the employees over there, she's doing the hardest to hire people to be there for you guys. But even they aren't going to be around 24/7. Just role play it out around it.
Anybody on the staff team have anything to add or touch on?
I think like the improvement with the role play, you know, we see some people do a lot of chain robbing, you know, within like, you know, 10, 15 minutes, they'll be robbing one place, they get away, do whatever they got to do, then turn around and go right back out and, you know, rob another place. And, you know, put some effort into it. You know, you shouldn't be out just chain robbing gas stations or banks. You know, take time, think of something creative instead of just using the same car, the same outfits, time and time again when you're chain robbing. You know, it gets boring from the cops. The cops know who you are, then you guys get mad because like, how do they know it's me? Well, you're using the same car, the same outfit. You know, for every single robbery, change it up, do something different. You know, it's like I think someone put in, you know, steal someone's car. You know, it's parked inside the road. Steal it. You know, use that for robbery. The person can report it stolen. You know, just be creative. That's all we ask.
All right.
I do have one thing, Finch.
No, I've already closed. There was already last call.
Shut
Yeah,
your
sorry.
face.
Sorry, Lacey.
Gosh, I'm
I spoke
finally
for you.
like full on awake now. Gosh.
Next.
All right.
You had enough.
Anyway, shush all your mouses. Jesus. Mouses, not mouses. Mouse.
Mouse.
Okay, whatever.
Are you sure you're awake?
On the phone, I am going to ask everyone from this, even as a realtor, even these other businesses, I can see these jobs on the phone.
Just put your foot down.
Yes, I am putting my freaking foot down. My angry mouse. Why do I keep saying mouse? Okay, whatever. Please do not spam the hell out of the job thing. Just when you send a thing in for the realtor, we see it. It literally says on our screen that we have a notification. There is no need to spam it 20 million times. When I wake up and I see that there is like 10 from the same person saying, I need a realtor 10 times, I'm going to be angry at you when I contact you. Do it once and you'll get contacted. I promise. I swear you will get contacted.
And she'll talk to you with her mouse. I'm just kidding.
My rant for the day. Marlo, there was no need for that. Okay? I hate every one of you in the staff team right now because I know all of y'all are laughing.
I am not laughing. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm not laughing. I'm just eating, bro.
Why does everyone hate me? I'm sorry. I love you guys.
I am definitely laughing. Well, she came in here all aggressive and
so
shit.
we can open it up for a few minutes if anyone just wants to talk on stuff really quick. We don't want to drag this out all day. We want to get the city back up, get people in, not make a 4-hour meeting. But anyone that wants to talk on a subject really quick or say anything or ask any questions, feel free to raise
If you
your
want
hand.
to talk, put your hands up.
You know what we need in the city more?
And then just go, you
Therapist.
can't see me.
So you can go to the therapist and sit there for hours and talk to the therapist. That's
Yes,
what we
please.
need.
I need one.
Yes, you do.
Did you say yes? You did, Elise.
Yeah, I need one just for working with her.
What's up, Stark?
So all I wanted to say, I'm not voicing my topic in here. I just wanted to say I've been here a couple months. I really enjoy what you guys have done with the city. I love the way you guys fund, and I love the improvements and changes that I've seen over the past couple months. And I hope it continues.
Oh yeah, we appreciate that.
That was it. Sorry.
No reason to be sorry.
The next one's gonna be Travis.
Yo, hello.
All right, before you say anything, you got to spell your name.
No. They can hear that in character. I'm not trying to do all that. What's up, y'all? Hey, my name's AT, bro. I'm recently doing some mapping development for the community. I know quite a few people in here. I used to roleplay a lot with them, specifically James Gamble and Big
Who?
D 08, Mr. James Gamble. We have a history, to say the least. So we haven't officially, been named mapping developers yet. We're still working on all that, but we're starting to do mapping work for the server, and we've been doing a lot of stuff in character. So if you guys want any billboards or quite literally anything that you can think of done in character, done in the city, we have the capability to do so. So just let us know.
Yeah, they're
Don't
looking
turn
to do
these
some
guys down.
really interesting RP with being able to customize stuff in the city, advertisements, construction, buildings, all that
Anything
kind
you
of
could think
stuff.
of map wise.
So you're saying I can get my gold and silver pawn shop back instead of being a little kid pawn shop? Because
I mean,
Garton literally means little boy in German.
we can quite literally do anything mapping related. We got a little tie on it. You know what I'm saying?
Probably not with
Cute little bow
your
tie.
pawn shop. We're gonna leave it little boy pawn shop, but
Yeah,
the
yeah.
rest,
we'll
yeah.
But yeah, we like to roleplay with it too. If you guys want like a whole ass MLO, we usually will charge like real money for that too. We'll do a combination of real money and character money, but shit like I don't know. Advertisements, we're trying to get billboards off the ground for sure, and we want to go bigger than billboards too. We can really put a mural or anything up. So don't let your like imagination limit you when you're thinking about requests to us. If you want to make a ticket or something, just shoot me a DM and I'll invite you to my server. That's it.
But most of it they want to keep in character, at least like the organic part of like setting it up and
Yeah,
it's
most
it's
well,
not it's
yeah,
not a full
mostly.
out of RP business. Like they're doing it both ways.
Yeah, exactly. And we want to take in character money too. We don't really just care about out of character money. You know, we really enjoy the role play that goes with it. So if you guys are trying to get like a big MLO done, obviously that takes hundreds of hours of work. I'm not even exaggerating. It's actually a huge pain in the ass. So we usually have people go and make a ticket for that and we'll negotiate a price. But everything else we'll keep in character. If you guys want to advertise, we can, like I said, don't let your imagination limit you, man. We can quite literally make anything from like a standalone sign to altering a billboard. But when you start putting big things where big things don't belong in the game normally, that's when shit gets wonky. So don't be expecting me to put a giant statue of you in the middle of Legion Square and shit.
Yeah, Marlo.
Mine won't be giant because it'll be a short one, but we can get a Chumley statue. I mean, in Legion Square.
There's
Yeah.
gnomes around the city
We're not
already.
exactly
Chumley. I've
modelers
seen it.
either. Like we're pretty good at it, but if you expect me to make a 3D render of like
Yeah,
your
I think there's
character, I'm
little
not-
Chumley statues all over the houses and
Yeah,
Mirror
those
Park.
little gnomes, you know.
Oh God, don't mention gnomes. If Billy's here, he's gonna go crazy.
Yeah, so I don't
Gnomes,
know.
Billy?
We really enjoy roleplay, so if you guys want to approach us in character about anything, please do. We already got one customer, so
Don't turn them down. Go with it. The progress, the role play of building something is gonna be, you know, the long term of it, and when the outcome.
yeah. And sorry, I haven't been flying in as much. I've been really busy. I just made the Miners Union MLO, so I just finished it. I'm about to shoot a commercial for it, so and I'll promote Great City in that, you know, because I really fuck with you guys and I'm trying to roleplay here, so it'll be
Hell
dope.
yeah, man. We're excited to see it, bro.
Yeah, I'm not really excited to see you gamble, but it's all good, man. It's when you get there.
Who
Fuck
is,
that
to be
guy.
honest?
Who is? Jesus Christ, that guy.
Welcome to Great City.
Yeah, and I look, man. I'm gonna speak on what I said in the topic chat earlier, man. All of these problems that you guys are having are just a consequence of like real life politics that are trying to be put into a video game because that's how fucking roleplay works. Like people will be boring some days, and some people won't receive your energy the same way that you want it to be received, and they may not reciprocate that. But if you let that get in the way, I've seen so many fucking servers die because of this, man. It will just be a vicious cycle of blame. You guys will just constantly blame each other because neither of you are giving the effort because you're both sick and tired of each other's roleplay, and it'll just fall apart. So just try to avoid that and just bring your all every time. That's my advice.
Oh, and that being said, that reminds me of something that was said too, and something that we have discussed is we want to know people's thoughts on punishment in the city. We can make a chart that literally says you do fail RP, you get a 3-day ban. And we can stick to that no matter what. If you meet that criteria for that, you get a 3-day ban. Or we can stick with the way we're doing it now, where we look at the situation, we look at your past, we talk to you, but it seems like people have this assumption that like one person can do it and another person can't. Well, maybe the person that is on a 3-day ban now is on their third warning and has been a total shitlord in the city and came into the ticket and was disrespectful and argumentative and didn't want to listen to us, didn't want to have an adult conversation, didn't want to be civil. So yeah, we handed out a 3-day punishment. Then we bring in another person who doesn't have a past, who was like, I'm sorry, I understand I messed up, I'll work on that. I really didn't mean to, or I did it in the moment, I didn't think, sorry, I'll work on my RP. It's really hard to turn around and go, okay, now you're going to get a 3-day ban, the same as the person that was disrespectful, didn't want to change anything. So I want to know the community's thoughts on, do they want just like, oh, I just did this, so now I'm getting a 3-day. Oh, I know this, I just did this, so I'm going to be suspended for 24 hours, or do you want it to keep the way it is? But if we keep it the way it is, people have to stop these rumors going around all the time, because it's not any kind of favoritism. It's a staff team. It's an entire team looking at people's past and the scenario at hand.
By the looks of it, majority that are answering is saying case by case.
Yeah, I prefer the case by case. I hate to pull up a spreadsheet and go, hey, this person just didn't value their life. That's a 3-day ban. Okay, they're strike one and now they're on a 3-day ban. That doesn't help the city.
Yeah, majority of the
Banning
time we give
people,
out warnings, but
suspending people and people not being able to fly in and ruining role play that could happen. And I just I don't think that's conducive to a good environment. Now, if you continue to do it, then we take action.
Yeah, we keep track of all the punishments. We have a whole list of everyone. So if you've been warned, it's been recorded.
We keep track of everything. We don't just hand out random stuff and go,
Yeah.
have we ever talked to this person? We literally have spreadsheets and chats and whatever, and we keep track of all of that.
Yeah, we always reference prior punishments, how long ago the punishment was. We take a lot of that stuff into account when we're dealing with somebody, because if we have somebody that their last punishment was a 24-hour ban, technically they should be getting another ban if it's like another fail RP situation. But say that was 6 months ago and they've been good and they're apologetic and they're not arguing, we might give them just a warning in that scenario. It really depends. There's a lot of different factors, and a lot of people, for whatever reason, decide to take whatever conversation they have with us in a ticket and go say, oh, I got punished for this. And then they talk to somebody who got punished for something similar, but they got 2 different punishments. You don't know each other's full stories. You don't know the exact same thing, because most people don't tell the entire truth of what exactly happened. Not shitting on anyone, but that's facts. There's always
like,
2 sides.
Said about like if it happens in front of a whole bunch of people and that, like, everyone here is human, and if you accidentally go OOC in someone's stream, I don't feel like that should be you shouldn't get suspended for it. You shouldn't. They know they messed up. We're all human. We all slip up. This isn't like, we're not supposed to be perfect here. Everyone gets upset. Everyone lets their feelings get in the way. But having a conversation and bringing it to light, it should never. I don't want to suspend anyone unless it's a reoccurring thing, or they did it on purpose. You know, like, screw it, I'm just gonna go do this and I'll take the ban. Okay, well, if you're gonna go in it with that kind of mindset, yes, you're gonna catch a suspension.
The big thing is you have to play to your audience and also try to be aware. You know, you don't know if somebody is streaming on Twitch or YouTube or something like that. Mind what you're saying. You know, that's why we don't hound on like a lot of the people talking about the ERP stuff and what happens at VU and happens at these other locations and what you do with your group and stuff like that. Putting it out into the public in front of a lot of people is when it becomes a problem.
But that being said, if we continue with the system we're doing, the rumors and the gossip in the background have to stop. It's ridiculous, the toxicity and all the weird rumors that go around of, oh, well, this person did it and they got suspended and this person didn't. This is favoritism. No, it's never. It literally is never favoritism, because we have a huge group of people that are reviewing this and going over it. And there is no way that every single person in this group feels the same way about every person. We are all very different people. We all have very different opinions. We all look at what we're given and we make a choice off that. There's no favoritism. Even though you may be dealing with one person in the ticket, you have the entire ticket team looking at this ticket. So those kind of rumors, and that just needs to die along with it. Like, we are doing everything in a fair way.
Like, overall, this is roleplay, guys. Don't take things personal.
We
And
got a couple more
please,
people with
please
their
try
hands
to
up.
start separating OOC and in character more. So much of it is bleeding between the two. So much anger from in city is bleeding out of character, and vice versa. Getting mad in a situation is bleeding into your character and just ruining stuff. And I think sometimes if you've been in the city for 8 hours and you just start to get really frustrated, step back and take a breath and come back and realize it's a game. We're here to have fun. Try to keep that out of character anger out of the city, and try not to. I mean, I would like to tell everyone just to, try not to get as mad. It's a game. Let's have fun. Let's not take some parts of it so serious to where, like, you're fuming when you get out of the city. That's not how it should be.
Exactly. We got a couple other people with their hands up. Sunderland had his up first, and then we'll go to Jenny.
Hello.
What's up, bub?
Oh, for me, finally. I didn't even make it to the first part of the meeting, so I don't know what I'll get talked about from my thing, but I'll watch that later. One thing I wanted to kind of ask about and touch on is, like, with the new people, especially joining the city, like, it's been a thing lately where, if you're new to this city, kind of RP like it. Don't RP like you're already super established with every single person in the city. Like, that's just so, it's mind-numbingly kind of annoying.
Well, real quick on that too, I think a lot of that comes from one person joining the city and being here a while, and then a group of their friends coming and just joining in on their RP like they've been here forever. I think that's something we brought up too. I just wanted to throw that in there.
Well, or like the other one was, if you're dealing with someone and the only thing you can say is, well, in another place it's like this, in another place this isn't another place, this is a whole different place. I'm gonna, like, I think I told one person the other night, I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. That has no relevance to what we're doing.
Yeah, we get that a lot in staff. People say, oh, well, it worked this way there. Well, it doesn't always work everywhere else the same way.
Yeah, none of this. Oh, in my last city, I owned this. It worked like this. I did this. I knew this person. I did this. It's just like, let's focus on this city. You're here. Focus on this city and not the past.
And then I'm sure it kind of got touched on, but man, the aggression towards cops lately has been insane. And I had 2 people last night that I dealt with for the first time ever. Been in the city less than maybe 14 hours from judging by their IDs and when they applied for everything, their licenses and everything. And within that time period, they've got, you know, supposedly robbing people at jobs. And then when we catch them on it and just say, hey, we're just going to take these for investigation, they come charging back into PD to try and kill cops. And they get shot down and then they're pissed about it. It's like, why? If you've been in the city less than 12 hours, why are you already hating on cops? That makes no sense.
I agree. There's a fine line between like, and everyone's excuse when they get brought into a ticket or asked about it is, well, I'm a hardened criminal. I'm not going to be nice to a cop. We get that. But there's a difference between being a complete shitlord, just I don't even know all the words to use, but there's a difference between like you can have a conversation with a cop, be upset, but not just make them not even want to talk to you. If you're just sitting there trying to actually have your role play and they're just being complete assholes, it ruins it. You have to find a happy medium of being that hardened criminal that hates everyone and making sure to accommodate to the people's RP around you as well.
Well, I didn't even I wanted to scream it at the time, but it's like, I'll be blunt, like charging into PD solo with a knife, you're basically in VL at that point, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where we say it every meeting. We say it in chat all the time. There's more than just one cop in the city. There's thousands. Los Santos is a big city, and that's how you need to treat it. You're not going to charge into a police department because you know only 2 people are on duty. You treat that police department like it is full of police officers, like a normal police station would be.
But yeah, that's really all I had. It's just like some of the levels we're getting to are they're less like in character hate, it seems like, and it's more the OOC fucking frustration bleeding through, and people are just taking it out in character instead of like, oh, a cop did something I don't agree with, I'm just going to go start killing cops now instead of let me open an LEO ticket and figure out, is this supposed to even be a thing, before I just have my character go on a killing rampage, get more triggered, because then I get more time in jail if I get shot down, you know. But that's all I got. I'm out.
Hey, we appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.
Yep, love you too, nerd.
Next is gonna be Jenny.
Hello. You can hear me okay?
Yes, yes.
All right. So I just wanted to kind of clarify what I meant, because I think I'm the one that brought up as far as like disciplinary actions and that sort of thing. I know that it may have came off like to be like super strict and everything, but that's not really exactly what I meant by that. I guess for me, it doesn't seem very clear how many opportunities someone would get, because there's been situations where
We don't
things,
have a set amount of how many.
right?
Like people were saying, it's a case by case situation. So it depends on
If you break a rule like 5 times in a week, you're probably going to get a pretty decent suspension. If you break 2 rules over 6 months, you're probably never going to get suspended unless it was something pretty intense. But
Right.
there's no point in suspending people if they are apologetic and, you know, are willing to work with us and be respectful.
like own up to it. Everyone
No,
makes
and I totally agree, and I totally get that. Like, that makes sense. Just sometimes it seems like there's somebody that, and maybe you guys just don't simply know. That's why I said, like, I don't know your processes and everything, of course. But there's people that have been toxic, and it seems like it's gone on forever and ever and ever, and they're still around, and you just like question why.
Well, it also
But these
depends. Has that person been reported a lot?
right.
There's still this weird meta in the city too that, oh, don't open a ticket because they're not going to do anything about it. So if you guys don't report anything, we can't do anything. If we don't actually have proof of anything or see it ourselves, we can't do anything about it.
That's kind of like my next thing I was going to mention. Because I make the joke a lot now that I've reached my ticket limit and everything like that, because I have in the past uh, made a lot of tickets and everything. I think that sometimes people are still just hesitant to do so because it feels like we're almost inconveniencing the staff. And I understand that you guys probably get so many and it's overwhelming. And it's really, I understand it's difficult to manage all these people and deal with all of it. But sometimes it just feels like people are just coming down on you. Or I can't say personally, I don't feel like I only had one time, I think it was Rusty that said something to me for 2.0 or something. But I've seen, of course, screenshots of other people's tickets and stuff like that, where it seems like you're just being barked at in the ticket and not really, there's no real like coaching or kind of like, I
mean,
guess
that's very
RP.
subjective because I'm sure they're not showing the whole ticket for one, and no one knows the past.
True.
No one knows the context. People will show what they want to show, and
My
yeah,
my
they're
question
going
is
to
though,
try to complain and show it. But I see almost every ticket that comes through, and if something is out of line, I'll step in. Finch will step in. Senior staff, anything like that. But I mean, we're not always here to hold a conversation about, like, sometimes when a question's asked and we give an answer, it's just going to be the answer. We don't need to continue on with a conversation for the next 2 days arguing back and forth. Sometimes
No,
when we
I
make
get
a decision, and that's what I've seen recently, is a lot of people wanting to argue our decision, and we say, like, we've gone over it as a team, we did, this is what we decided, this is what we're doing, and please adjust accordingly. And people just want to continue to argue and argue and argue.
No, and I get that. It's completely situational. I've just seen a few where it's like left kind of unclear what the person may have done wrong. Like you just ask a question, then it's like, okay, and then you're not sure if you had actually done something wrong or not. So I guess just
I mean,
and
we
again, I
usually
get it.
type out
There's a
pretty
million of
clear.
them.
We usually are very clear of typing out exactly what happened, pasting the rule that was broken. So I feel like you might not be seeing the whole conversation.
it's not even just that. You only hear about the bad tickets. You never hear people talk about how well a ticket went because it's just easier to spread drama and toxicity rather than a positive interaction. People aren't taking screenshots of a positive interaction with the staff team and spreading that around.
Yeah, and I'll piggy on that and say, like, we get, let's say, 20 tickets in half a day, and most of them are opened and closed within minutes, like not hours, within minutes, because they're that cut and dry. Outside of that, I mean, they're the only ones that really, only tickets that seem to linger are those where we've said what we need to say. The person wants to argue. We just let them kind of go on in their ticket, and then after a few days, we're like, "Hey, yeah, is there anything else that you need from us, or are we done? Like, we've already said what we're going to say here." And then there's, they banter some more and don't want to close the ticket. But outside of that, I also want to say this: we have the staff team broken down into teams for a reason. I mean, you all probably can't fathom the amount of applications that come in a week's time, and the whitelisting, the ticket team, or the app team, they're constantly reviewing the apps, scheduling those meetings, opening the tickets for said things, so on and so forth. And the ticket team's just dealing with support tickets, and the dev team obviously is dealing with the dev tickets, and so the teams are broken down to kind of make sure that there's a group taking care of just those things. But my point is, can't feel like people shouldn't feel like I'm not going to open something because well the staff team's just they're too busy, because that's, I mean, again, our app team alone, the amount of tickets they deal with in a week's time is extremely high. And you know, as I said earlier, if 10 people have the same stance of I'm not going to report it because of insert whatever reason, we don't know, and then people complain and say, well, so and so's been toxic, oh I know, and you know, next thing you know, there's 10 people are talking about this one person, and nobody wants to fess up that out of the 10 people, not one of them brought it to staff's attention. So you know, there's no, you know, ticket limit, if you will. People just need to, they got to speak up. I mean, we can't fix what we don't know is broke. I know that's a cliche thing to say, but it's the truth. I mean, we're not everywhere all the time. When we're in city, we're RPing characters and dealing with staff stuff. So it's, you know, it's just not,
There's
not
also a
conducive.
difference between getting a decision from the staff team and just not getting the answer you wanted.
Very true.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Like, don't hesitate to put a ticket in just because you don't think you're going to get the answer you wanted. You're not sure just because somebody told you something
don't also
else.
get upset when you don't
Yeah,
see the outcome
exactly,
you wanted.
yeah.
Like, we're not being unfair. We're taking. I see a lot of people come in with a ticket to report someone, and they're heated, and they give us something, and we look into it, and we talk to the individual, and blah blah blah, and we do what we need to do. And then the other person gets upset because they still see that person in the city. You don't know the conversation that went on. You don't know the person's past with us. You don't know anything. There's no need for you to get mad that this person isn't now suspended. If the person
Right.
isn't a genuine shitlord, there's no reason we need to be suspending people on a daily basis, because
And
that just hurts the city. It hurts the role play. It hurts the morale.
and another thing that happens too, I'll just throw this out there, is that, you know, someone will open a ticket and tell us all these things happened that were bad, and then the other person or someone else has a video, and we watch the video, and maybe because the person was heated or whatever, what they said wasn't 100% accurate, or the situation, you know, we look at situation as well when we're evaluating complaints, you know.
Well,
Was there, you know, what was the RP scenario, and how did that play into it, or was someone just genuinely being a shitlord, you know?
Like an example, like someone will break character. I mean, this hasn't happened specifically, but say like someone broke character, and the person next to him gets pissed off and pulls out a gun, and when they have a gun pointed at them, and they gun the other person down, then they put in a ticket going, this person's breaking character. And they're like, okay, so because they broke character on accident, now NVL, you just pulling out a gun and gunning down the other person is all right? Like, they just slipped up in RP, and now you're breaking a major rule. So how are we supposed to address this? Like, you want to get heated over something very small that could just be like, you could just go about your day and chalk it up like, they messed up. But instead you
Right.
get heated and turn around and break a rule. That makes no sense to me.
So the only other thought I have, why someone may not just be reporting it as well, is that not everyone's running, you know, a software to record their screen,
You
and
don't have to.
No, we
right.
ask
So
for as
that's
much
just my
written detail.
question. Yeah, that was just my question. If like, how do you guys handle where the person doesn't have it, but they have their word and
Having
that sort of
proof,
thing?
having proof is important. It does help,
Right.
but it's not necessary, because we can still go investigate ourselves. We can go spectate.
We also have the slash report in city. So if
Yeah.
if a scene is going on and somebody's breaking rules within the scene as you're role playing, we can actually just kind of check it out.
Yeah, that is actually, in my opinion, better sometimes. FYI to anyone who doesn't know about it, /report in city, because staff members get that while we're role playing, and if we're not busy, we can address it right then and there.
Even if we don't get it right then and there, it still goes to our Discord in something separate that we can see. So that has bug reports, player reports, and something else, just like generic questions or something. So please try to use that more if it's something minor, or if it's something you want staff to try to get involved in, or just witness as it happens. Use that /report, and it should go to every staff member that's in the city along with the Discord. So
yeah, I mean, you put in
And
the
if you
ticket
have,
if you don't. Go ahead.
If you have clips or video recordings, you can send that in as a ticket too, so we can see what led on to that point. But most of the time, if you do it right at that point, we can see.
Yeah, we evaluate every single ticket. So even if you submit something and it doesn't have evidence or anything like that, we'll ask you for it. Doesn't mean you're being discarded. We're not listening to what you have to say.
We ask that you try to make our jobs easier, though, and at least give us player numbers. Sometimes I know, like, you'll get gunned down and you don't. We have killing logs, we have shooting logs, we have all that stuff. But
ID 90,
whatever
ID
you
92
can-
is dressed in checkered clothes and in an LSPD car pulling people over. You don't need a picture for that. We can literally go spectate that person.
And with all the people that do stream in the city or record, there's a good chance that during this scenario there might be someone else that was recording that we could get video from if it's something that we really need to dig into. But we've always asked people just to report what they feel necessary. We don't want everyone to be report happy and just like trying to, be the RP police, because we do want people to have fun. But we do try to promote role play over role play and all of that, but
all right,
always open it.
Yeah, and if you guys feel like you have a report that involves a staff member, know that not all staff members can see all tickets, because we are we're siloed out into different teams. But you can always reach out to G, and you can always reach out to Finch. You can DM them directly if you have problems. They will address it.
Well, there you go. All right. Well, I didn't actually know about the /report thing, and I've been in the city for a while, so
Yeah, it's fairly
I was
new for
informative.
everybody that hasn't been around. Like, that hasn't been coming into the city, but everybody that is new to the city is getting informed.
Oh, okay. Sweet.
But yeah, so everybody that are been around for a while don't know of it. But now you all know.
That's well, that's all I got. Thanks.
All right, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Yep.
We got 2 more people. We got time for them?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, cool. Smooth. All right, Smooth, you're being brought into this ticket because over the last couple of days, your RP has just not been that great.
Shut up. You did scare me that day, but it's a quick question. Because I said it multiple times, but I don't know if it got talked about or anything. Is the casino coming?
TBD.
What do you mean? What does that
No
mean?
spoilers.
To be determined.
To be determined.
Oh.
FOIC.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of a G thing. He's got a lot of things that he's working on. That might be something he's working on. We don't even know. So, if it comes, it comes. Then we'll give it time.
So I'm taking the hesitated answer was, maybe more so of a no.
There's always more.
There's nothing in the works for a casino right now.
Okay, that's all.
At the bottom of the list.
All right, yeah, that's all I wanted to know, if it was even in the works. But I mean, that was it. I just wanted a quick answer on that.
If you want to give your money away, though, just come visit me over at the courthouse. I'm more than happy to.
No.
No, I need
roll
all the
dice
bread.
with you.
Yeah, I need all the bread. So if you want to donate bread to, the Bloods, come and give it to us. See ya.
All right. Did you have anything else? Oh no, we already
He
got
left.
rid of
He
him.
gone.
Cool.
Yeah,
He's
he
already
was.
out. He's already out. All right, now
Hey.
He's down.
That's right.
Hi.
Stay over at Girl.
All right, what's up, Nat?
I wanted to be really quick. Like, and I know it's said every month, but I really, 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 really want to emphasize using /me's when you gotta deal with this. Because then at that point, it's just kind of like a pit stop to us where we kind of just treat them and they're like, okay, bye. Like, I love having conversations with people. Like, some of y'all would be funny as hell. Even Jose, we have some great conversations. I'm saying that because he's literally right under my name. But like, please, 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 please do /me's.
And I think that's fair to say. Use /me's and role play more often, all around.
Yeah, it's like I don't, even if it's like scrapes or road rash or whatever, I really don't care at that. But like, just something, just so like it, because it's your character, you do what you want with it. But like, you gotta give us something.
You can be honest with her and tell her you can't drive. I do it multiple
Yo,
times.
I can't drive. The people that have
I
been
do
in
that
my
too.
truck can guarantee, can like vouch for me. I cannot drive. I've gotten better, but I can't drive.
My issue is no seatbelt. But you know.
I know
I
Vera
know.
can't. Vera can't drive either. I saw her in Chile the other day.
People /me's are a part of a role play. So like, you know, if someone's doing /me, put your seatbelt on. They put your seatbelt on. It's not like, oh, never mind. I don't. I'm choosing.
Or when you
that
throw
they didn't
somebody's
put my
seatbelt on and they
on.
don't throw it on, they get thrown out of the car again. You're like, well.
Yeah, like when those are
Faulty
used, like
seatbelt.
when a cop says /me buckles you in, you need to put your seatbelt on, because when you get ejected from the car in a crash, that is not your time to run, because you were supposed to be buckled in that car.
But that
Still
was it.
waiting for movie night, Natalie.
Definitely Spy Kids all the way.
I will just throw a disclaimer or an asterisk in there. You cannot use /me's to do powerful things. Okay, so you know, /me chops your head off. No, right? Like, so make sure that when you're using those,
/me, I'm
right,
Superman.
right, right. /me, you can't kill me. You know,
Calm
like
down, John Cena.
I did do one the other day. It was kind of funny. Well, it was funny and not funny, but I got held up. The guy's like, "Hey, can I borrow?" I was like, "No, you can't fucking borrow me." But anyways, his girlfriend, you know, puts me in her car, and it's just me and her. She doesn't have a gun on my head. I did /me, slammed her head against the steering wheel, and as she RP'd it out and everything, and I just jumped out and took off running after she was there,
That's an
knocked
example
out
of what
somewhat.
not to do is /me's. There you go.
Oh, that reminds me too.
What do you mean?
anything,
We don't want /me's being abused in that way. Like, you know, everyone's gonna start trying that.
So you have to also be honest with you. It is in the rules about being honest with your /me. So, for example, if a cop is, role playing out, checking your ID, you have to give an honest. You have to be honest about that.
Or
and there's other
like,
scenarios where that applies.
Same with EMS, like searching for gunshot wounds, or if they said that and you've been gunned down, don't say no.
Got shot in the ear.
Well, no, not something like was fell downstairs. No, be realistic and be like, like gunshot wound in my hip, or whatever.
It kind of gets frustrating when it's like when when it's like, yeah, they definitely got shot. Like it's like that's what we were called for. It's what PD calls us for. And then like when you want to know where it is and you do like /me searches for gunshot wounds and we get nothing, we're kind of like we kind of just sit there like, well, what the hell are we gonna do now?
You know what? From now on, if you don't /me your injuries, you get perma'd.
Oh God!
How about that? EMS will now decide your fucking fate.
Forced ICU for the next week while they try to determine what's wrong with you with all the testing they have to run.
That's worse than prison, y'all.
They put you in a medically induced coma while they run all their CAT scans and tests.
Y'all in timeout.
Yeah.
You know, it is funny though. We used to have that as a rule back in 1.0 where EMS could perma your character if you weren't role playing with them. So
And it was touched on in 2.0 because nobody was role playing it out.
right. So like, don't make that a legit conversation, folks. Like, give
that was
them
easy with 5 people though.
True. So just give
all right, I'm
give
done being the
EMS
chief
there.
of police. Now I'm gonna go own the car dealership. I'm gonna perma.
Right.
Natalie's already plotting all the people that she could perma.
No comment.
She gonna send us a list.
Oh God. Just you're done. Oh, that was really
Yeah,
weird.
other thing too is, and this I'll point out for Natalie and anyone that is EMSs, try to verbalize sometimes as well when
Yeah,
you are
even if
doing
you
your
say
slash
like,
me's. Yeah, because the reason why we say that, it's hard when you're on the bed being operated on, so the doctors and EMS have to pay attention to you. But when it's the other way around, it's hard for somebody that's laying in the bed to see slash me's because it gets really awkward with how high up the bed is and how close you are to the ceiling. The camera perspective just doesn't work all the time.
and I
So
think I
if
figured out the certain pinpoints too on like where people could see it too. So it's like if you can't like see it, let me know, and because that's like an easy like, oh okay, because it shows that you want to try.
Yeah, and if you can't see
Or
their
if you
slash
make little
me's,
cues too as a
communicate that
EMS,
with a
like,
slash me that
"Can
you're
you see
having
me?"
trouble
Yeah.
seeing. You're not gonna get in trouble because you're trying to communicate to continue the role play because you utilize a slash me to let that person know that we can't see each other's interactions and what's going on. We're not gonna hound on you about that.
Or are we?
And
Dun dun dun.
find out in character.
Setting everyone up for failure.
Shut the fuck up. Server, mute him, please. Thank you.
This is my kind of staff team.
All right. Do you have anything else, Natalie?
Lacey
No,
and
that
I
was
are gonna
it.
plot your death.
All right. Thank you.
Love you guys.
Thank you.
Jose?
I said Lacey and I are gonna plot Clowny's death.
No, I said Jose.
No, she thought you said ho. Never mind. I'm not making that joke.
Jose, what?
All right. What's up, everybody? So the topics that I spoke on is like some of the RP that I've been like dealing with in the sense of I've tried to create storylines across a lot of people, but there's been a lot of lacking things when it comes to like fear RP, right?
No way.
Just last night, we ended up taking somebody hostage and we were questioning them about a situation that happened, which we had all the information going. But I legit got answered with shoot me, bitch. That's just something that, like, going forward, create the story, let it ride, make your character, go further ahead with shit. With that also being like part of what I'm saying, read the room, see who's around you, because sometimes we're saying comments and things that like I've been at the hospital and I've heard some shit be said where I just run off because I'm like, I'm not trying to get involved in that. That's not role play. There's things that just like sexual comments, sexual harassment, shit like that. If you're cool with somebody and you guys are saying, a joke within each other, make sure you're whispering instead of like shouting. Because when shit gets said around or like anything that you may be joking or something like that, it just comes to a point where people are like, what the fuck was that? And it makes everybody uncomfortable in an area. So, it's just going forward.
Hell yeah, I agree with you, man. People need a fear, and yeah, by saying something like "shoot me," that's classified as mercy killing technically in our rules, and that's still against the rules. Don't encourage people to kill you. You got to value your life.
All right. Do we have anybody else?
Show of hands if you want to speak up.
Oh, let me go ahead and touch on this before it gets spammed. Yes, I can change interiors of houses. I did not know that I could delete houses if they weren't owned. So I can
Amateur.
before you buy. Shut it, G. I didn't know. I can change interiors of houses before you buy them.
So this
don't
goes
know
for
how
the
to do your
community as
job?
well as Lacey. Ask questions if you don't know.
I cannot do it if it's owned. Now, if you own that house and you leave the city, I can't do that, G. So, ha! that's when it has to be them to delete the house. But if it is not owned before you buy it, I can change the interior. But please, if you own a house right now and you want that shit changed, do not spam me because I already know I'm the only one that can do it. No one else that is a realtor can do it. It's only me. So
Hey,
please
you
do
don't have to
not.
yell at all of us.
Yeah,
Just
no
Give me
shit.
calm down.
a headache.
I mute
Be
her.
good.
All right, settle down, Lacey.
Deep breaths. USA.
Shut it.
So could I get a realtor?
No.
All right,
Fucking
I'm
with
gonna
you.
DM her right now.
All right, what you need, Sunderland?
One thing, and I don't know how much you guys touched on it because I haven't had a chance to review. So everybody's kind of basically been told, like, we as the DOJ judges, the staff team that works with us and everything, we made a bunch of changes to a lot of stuff lately. So one thing with those changes, like, I kind of want to touch on because I've actually legit already heard about it. Just because we changed them doesn't mean your attitude about it in the city should change. There's no resources for you in the city to go, oh yeah, this is a lower fine and time now. It's not as big of a deal. You know, I can just do this without fear because, oh, I'm rich. You know, you still should fear to a degree breaking the law.
We did this
Yes.
for quality of life, not to change like, oh, I can do that because the fine's just cheaper now. Like, keep everything the same. You just aren't being penalized. You don't have to sit in jail as long. The fine isn't quite as big, you know.
And,
You
that's why I
can
said
always put it back too.
that's why I said earlier, don't continue to use the attorneys and DOJ and things of that sort, because just as fast as we were able to change it, like, I'm not making an idle threat. I mean, we've had to do this in the past where we've made a change thinking this is better for server health, and then people take advantage and we have to change it back. So don't make this one of those things.
Keep each other accountable when it comes to this kind of stuff. You know, keep the community and yourself accountable when we make these kind of changes that, you know, don't go doing all this crazy stuff wild and out. And just because you don't have to worry about paying a massive fine or spending a lot of time in jail, because it would go right back and it could even get worse.
Yeah, because to be blunt and honest, what took, you know, several of us like a day and a half out of character, not RPing, to get kind of an idea of and change and get put in the code and sent off and get put through in less than the time that we've all been talking now, it can all be reverted and go back to exactly how it was.
100%.
But love you guys. Catch you later.
Appreciate you, man.
All right. Is that everybody? You got any more hands, Gamble?
Nope. No more hands.
All right. Well, as always, appreciate everyone taking the opportunity to spend some time with us today, talking through some things, voicing your concerns. I will say that I'm happy to see that the town hall topics have changed, and that we're starting to see more focus on cleaning up RP. So continue with that same energy. Continue to hold your friends and the folks you RP with accountable for lazy RP or the lack of RP, however you want to look at it. And hopefully within the next month we can come back to this our next meeting and say, man, things have really changed. So again, really appreciate it. My takeaway, my parting remarks: RP, focus on the RP, focus on the improvement of RP. Everything else will fall in line, as it was said by, are we saying Travis? All right, we'll go with that. Again, appreciate everybody, and look forward to speaking with you next time.
All right, well, that was fun. I'm going to stop here. Oh, listen to the outro music. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm about to get back to some RP in a minute. I got like 2 hours before my nerd date. I look forward to arresting some of you in the near future.